Let's talk about it, us talk. Let's talk about it, us talk.
Episode 26 iyasixoxa na Prince Vilangaza ngikwamukele ke uma ku-step sakho sokuqala lesipressa follow dothola onke lama episodes kusukela ku episode 1 tofika kule episode yanamhla ke sinelikhasi ku Facebook konke lesivame ukukhuluma ngako kuma event ma competition ma announcement alapha kuleli page lethu ke nethombe lototibona libhale asixoxe na Prince Vilangaza pressa like ube iliphathi ke yaleli page kungena ku episode yanamhla esivakashi lesikhona ke namuhla singiyonke into ku radio ke that's why bathi when they radio wandlulela ngikoba mbita nge voice over artist lokusho ukuthi sekugcineni lokho ku radio but ngithe mangifika eBCR nginoma practical makathi introducer washo ukuthi ngimle ngivakala la radio noma ngekho ekhaya so utova yonke into lesikhuluma ngayo but kunyendile kwakwendile ke ku radio uqale khona ku community radio yes uke waya academy tokusherela nawe ukuthi journey yakho njani ku radio but now u commercial radio and you do understand ukuthi makukhuluma nge commercial radio ukukhuluma ngani igama la se radio lesimathi ngalo ngi capital E I don't know ukuthi la kule journey la kayo khona because it's serious ku radio ukuthi solusa sebenzisa capital E ngoba i brand name onjani but konke lokuthi ositshela mina kethu angikwamukele kuwasixoxa na Prince Vilangaza.
Thank you so much, my brother, for the invite. Well, even though it was not really a proper invite, I know you and I have been talking about me being on the other side of the mic and you happened to interview me. But I suppose, you know, uNkulunkulu une inhlelo zakhe about everything. And today I came, you know, surprisingly, and you were here and it was like, you know what, you're ready and I'm ready, let's do it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You always ready, by the way, because this is your job. Ngise ngoba bengathi ukuthi udoda neitona. Bengisafuna kubuka because letinye into ngitifunza la kuwe but mina akusiki ukuthi yonke into lengiyendako emsebenzi la kimi. When it comes to food kudla ngiya ngokuthi ngiyakuthanda but wena food you passionate akho. Umsebenzi wakho when it comes to timbadla etimbadla kunogqoka ukuthi okay ngiyathanda but wena timbadla umsebenzi wakho so yini mhlambe lo ngathi awuvami kukwenda ezimsebenzi just it for fun.
I think yeah it's a tricky one. No, not really, because I mean immediately I was not anticipating that's where the question would go, right? So sound engineering, yeah I don't do it as work because I do it in church. At church I'm a sound engineer, or in church I'm a sound engineer. So that's what I do. I studied sound engineering. I don't do it to get money in church. Well, outside church I now and then, but it's not something I love doing to that extent that I can do it without getting paid.
Okay, siye la ku radio because ngoba ku interesting sek November nyalo la usebenza khona nyalo bakucashe ngo December ne.
In fact I signed the contract in November. We started going on air in December. The talks have been always going on. I remember I sent it's funny. A year prior the contract year on the same day or on the same month, well, it was October, that is 2019 October, myself and the station manager bumped into each other in a shop. I knew who he was, he didn't know who I was.
You are
obviously the case. And I made sure that I cement whatever I can in his mind or in his head so that he thinks about me and that maybe he'll contact me. So basically what happened was I bumped into him. A friend of mine knew who the person was, and a friend of mine was like, Musa, so ubiyela nini grade? So the guy was just right there. So yeah, so I had to respond to what my friend had just asked, but at the same time I'm responding in such a way that this guy is here, he would hear. Like, nah man, I'll go back the day Rise FM and other commercial radio stations.
Okay, we gonna get them asibuka each and yakho radio. Ngifuna understand ukuthi mawe ko 7 ngo December uyitholebi i-content because on December even nalabantu lesibukele kuko on December it's all about entertainment, it's not that content ngila relax wakhona. most. So when ufika la lesikhathi wonke umuntu ayo relax, and I don't think content it was there kangako because the space same event.
I don't believe in that. Simply because everything is content. And literally everything could be turned into fitting any particular show. So I don't believe there's content during the year and then in December it ceases there. I suppose it ceases to exist. I don't think that's the case. But I think we have conditions our head. I suppose we have conditioned our heads in such a way we choose to be oblivious to content when it happens in December.
Yeah, because ngavumelana na ngoba ngize ngikubude sona what I know about lama radio ukuthi nalama presenter ayachinja nami ngifike ku space lesinjalo ukuthi okay ma presenter aya living.
Yeah, the reason why presenters change is simply because of leave. Yeah. It's not because they are changing content. It's simply, I mean, take for instance any joker in South Africa, if they were to work in December, they will still have the same producer. The same producer will still produce the same content. What changes is patterns. Yep. So we need to, if you are a content creator or a content producer, you need to be aware of times, right? For an example, you need to be aware that if you are a morning breakfast content producer, a lot of people are not waking up at 4 to get to work at 7 or 8. Yep. So your content must speak to somebody who's just going to wake up and make cereals for kids and make breakfast for themselves. Your content must speak to somebody who's going to host a family, for December holidays. Your content must speak. So, you see, already I'm giving you pointers on how to think of creating content. So, there's no way that content doesn't exist. It's there. It's just a matter of knowing where's what. Somebody says read the room. Yeah. I'd say read the times or read the season. Okay. That's how you can create that content. So that thing in December there's no content, it doesn't exist. So but to answer you properly, I'd say when we jumped on, one thing we had one aim, with the team that I started with. Yep. The aim was very simple. The aim was let's go out and have fun this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ngiyakuthola mawuthi wena uyangala ama season. Bosakhuluma ukuthi decide ku have fun because it was December, but ngiyacabanga bekuyindlela yokuthi natana because beningeke nifike nithi.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, I got into the space with different people, yabo. Yeah. So you're right by saying besifuna ukwadana, but over and above we wanted to create the friendship with the listener. Yeah. So we wanted you to say I'm going to listen to those guys that made my December fun in the afternoons of December. And then, we wanted to cement our presence. We wanted, I think that's the best time to start radio particularly because December, a lot of people are not listening because you have a lot of content. Yeah. But they are also listening because, as you know, radio listeners are passive listeners. They don't hold the radio in just next to their ear. You're doing something, but you're listening. And then it catches your attention. So how we planned our program the whole December, or how we planned our content was to catch your attention. And we always talking about the things that you don't like talking about on radio, but that was our aim. So we went all vigorous about it, and we were so deliberate, and yeah, we did.
Asikhulume ngeproduction la or ngokuproducer because uthashe ngawo ukuthi lapha ungene ngokuproducer Rise FM. As a content producer, yini ma achievement yakho lo ufuna kuba nawo and uwa achieve because ngathi basakade most of the time bengisakhuluma na Clement ukuthi i-radio is provided ukuthi sathi basakade because are the stars ngilabantu abakhuluma la moyeni and ma achievement abo siyawadi ukuthi okay ngilawa nalawo because they have to read the comment nan but as a producer kude lokubonakalako lama resulting lalendiwa ngilabasakade. So when ayindo aimako mangabe i-content producer ukuthi this is when ngiloku ngifuna ukuachieve ngiloku naloku and mangabe i-direction basakadini nje do aim as a content producer.
I think for me what I aim, because obviously I don't want to speak broadly because abanye abantu angibazi baplana, but for me what I wanted to achieve I've already achieved. I think I achieved it on our 6th month on the show. For me what I wanted to achieve, number one, was to create something that was not in the province, in terms of features, in terms of content, in terms of even conversation, I didn't want us to talk about things that down the road you'd hear another radio station talking about it. Even if we were both getting our source from the same, I suppose, content from the same source, but how we will dissect it is completely different from how you would. And also, I wanted us to dig within our arsenals. And for me, I know that the guys I was working with, they are experienced in their own right, and they've done radio and they've got contacts. So I wanted us to use the contacts, because I knew when we were planning, someone would say, no, I know Sbanban, he's my friend. So when I was planning the show, I wanted to create content that would feed into someone saying, I'll make an example. One of my presenters was chilling with or hanging out, like on a normal basis, with Robert Gumet. Okay. So when I was at the back of my head, when I was creating content, I wanted Robert Gumet to call at the back of my head. Yeah. So he's not an individual that you normally get on radio. Yeah. Sure. But I can tell you for free today that his housekeeper called and said they were listening. Yeah. So in fact, they didn't call. They sent us a voice note on one of the topics we were talking about. So sure.
Yeah. So umithile kambe ngubani uMakhosi they wafunela Thabo.
I haven't met Makhosi.
Ngisho le standard.
Not really. I think Makhosi has, by far is till to date is one of my favorite. I've never met the guy. That's the beauty about radio. With TV, you can easily associate yourself with the person. So Makhosi, I fell in love with how he sounded, how he thinks, and then I went on to see how he looks, and then I found he's a great guy. And of late, I know that he's based in KZN and he's a programs manager, so for Kakasi FM. So he's doing very well for himself even.
So moving from community radio to commercial radio in terms of content, because ayisafani ngwama adjustment level kufuna wende or ngublock kufuna ukuthola kufana presenter kuzi yes you still have the same mic, you still have maybe kutofuna uchinja 1 2 3 but mic it's on none. Then from you as a producer, I think it's more work or very kufuna kuchinja nale environment.
Hey, number one, Prince, bruh, like it was tough. The first month it was tough. Not creating content, just adjusting to the culture of how the station does things, right? I speak for Rise FM because I'm there. The way they do things, it's such on another level than I had previously expected. So you always hear about commercial radio station, right? So when you get there, bruh, like they require excellence. So there, where I work, you don't say, you see, we used to do it at BCR, community level. You would say, I've spoken to Prince. Prince has assured me that he's going to pick up his call. It doesn't work like that side. There we need assurance, right? That when we now queue to Prince, or when it's time for us to call Prince, Prince is going to be there, right?
So how do you do that? Because yes, you said ngalana we are assure again. Yes, we facing that.
Yeah, no, sure. It's a radio thing, but at Rise they teach you how to keep Prince there, to want to be part. So they teach you that. So at Rise they teach you, because it's easy for me to have a conversation with Prince and say, Prince, I want you on my show tomorrow, and then you say, okay, sure, come tomorrow because of other reasons you are unavailable. Yeah. At Rise they do teach you how to hold Prince accountable.
Okay.
Yeah. For Prince to come to the interview. The thing is, it's very tricky. It's not something difficult. At Rise, they say, show Prince his advantage of being there.
Yeah.
So it's up to the person whether they come or not. But the thing is, often when people book interviews, they book them based on a narcissistic perspective. Oguti, it's all about me. It's about our show. So you come to our show and talk about your story in our show. At Rise, they say, no, Rise FM is opening up the conversation to the province. We want you to tell the province. It's not about us. We want you to tell the province what you've just told us now here at Rise.
Yeah, all right.
So Rise is it's always about the province. So they prioritize the province above everything else.
Then asibiyele emuva kancane ubowadi ukuthi eradioweni ufuna kuba ipresenter nani yini into lekwende ukuthi uqale ku community radio let's say approach ukuthi ufuna kuba i-content producer because you bowadi ukuthi yes ufuna kuba i-presenter that's why ngithi uze wandlulela waba i-voice over artist but yini lekwende ukuthi uqale ufune kuba i-content producer or ungene as a content producer.
I think for me Prince ukuthi you can't be sitting on the other side and say this cake lacks sugar if you've never been on the mixture part of the thing. Okay. So you can't be on the other end saying, but you should have put a strawberry without knowing where the strawberry comes from. Okay. So I think being part of, number one, being part of a community radio station, you become an all-rounder, number one. Yeah. It's a very necessary thing. At first when we were doing it, we felt abused. But as you maneuver your way around radio, you realize you have an advantage more than other people. Some of our colleagues that we meet with, right, is that some have always been what they are. And a lot of people who start from community radio stations, they've been an all-rounder of one of some sort. So you'd find somebody has once read news, has once read sports, have been a reporter on the ground, you've produced a show, you have technically produced a show, you have been presenting a show, you have co-hosted. I mean, you've even been a security guard for the radio station. All those things, they matter. Yeah. You know, because I make the example of being a security guard for this particular reason, because we work in a technical space. Technology is not always reliable. It is to a certain extent, but it's not always. When something happens, you know what to do when you are left alone. So that's what I mean by security guard. So, I mean, an example, the right thing to do is to call those, you see now where we work, you've got like IT, ITians. You call them, you ask them, hey guys, this has just happened. What should I do to assist? Yeah, but then they tell you, no, don't worry, our machines are automated. You see, they are ready for these things, but you can just go switch there and, But having been with PCR, you know that Malini Zulu, there are certain things that you must do as a presenter, even though you're not technical, but you just know that you must switch off certain things so that it doesn't ngashi. And such things.
So meaning if bangazi awubi ne producer, you can survive because we're a producer.
Sure, without a doubt. I think it's very necessary for every presenter to know how to produce for their own show. Like I was saying, how do you normally kuneshiyo bathi bottles wa umpheki. So the reason why they're saying that the cooker itself or himself would have known that it tastes good when I've put 3 pinches of salt, right? And if it's too much, the cooker will know that, okay, guys, be careful of the of the salt because it's too much. So you can't then go on air and say, I didn't know that this was gonna be part of the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is to ensure that you're an all-rounder, even community level, campus level, everywhere. You're an all-rounder.
So how do you create content or create content? Because njengoba nanyalo ukhulume ngabo kuma security level or what, for me everything is content njengoba ushilo. So ikhona lenye indlela le ngisho ukuthi okay i-content vele create ngale ndlela le, because uma ngabe content creator you come with your own thing.
I think it's just understanding the basics, simple things like who are you creating the content for?
Okay, the listener.
Sure. So we call it listenership. So, but like, who are you creating it for? I mean, take for instance, let's use something that everyone can relate to, besides radio. Say Instagram, right? So if I take a can of a soft drink and I post it, right? Who is it for? Right? But if I take a glass branded with PCR or any other community radio that is out there, and I pour a soft drink, what you see, I'm selling PCR, but what's inside PCR is something completely different from PCR. So what I'm trying to say is you need to understand who you're broadcasting to or who you're targeting. Or, I mean, I see this all the time, even on Instagram. You find somebody would have had a dope reaction or whatever, But because they don't know who they're doing it for, they've just haphazardly posted it, or they've just haphazardly executed it. So now it doesn't have an intention. So how you create radio content or content in general, you must know who you're creating it for, and how do you want them to react after you have disseminated that thing. So after you've given them that, how do you want them to respond? So that's very important. For an example, if I say, and then I start my link, whatever I say after that, somebody's expected because I've already sold the idea. So I suppose it's very important to know who you're creating it for, and also how do you want them to respond after you have created it. Because the thing is, what I've learned also when I was now in this journey that I'm in, we somewhat do things and expect people to react miraculously, but we don't even know how they should react.
Okay, yeah.
So content creation is very easy, man. Like, it's everything around us. It's everything that is of interest to people, but particularly the people that you're targeting. Simple. So if you know that I am, as a person, I'm targeting the affluent people in life. I know they like cars. I know where they eat. I know what type of food they eat. I know what clothes they wear. I know what conversations they're having. Then it's easy because you just focus on those things. So when you see something about a particular soft drink, about that group of people, you just bring it into the conversation and say, you know what, Prince, the other day I was chilling with these friends of mine. They were doing this thing. And then already, whoever is in that group of people is already hooked. Like, he wants or she wants to listen. So I think it's easy as that. Yeah.
Okay, la besakhuluma ngekwa off air nyalo, because this is production wise. Asiye emoyeni nyalo. Le igama la capital will be up because I ngisho ukuthi yonke into lo associate nayo ihambisana nemsebenzi. Even the E. Yeah. I mean, I think it was for economy. Understand?
No, not really. My first name is Elfas, according to government documents. So Elfas Musa Sikhosana. So that's actually my name. So when I was hired at BCR, I mean, there was, there were a lot of people. There were your Mawetu N, because I knew his name was Mawetu. His surname was Ngwenya. There were so many names. But I also needed something that would distinguish me, but still, because I don't want to give myself something far-fetched from who I was. Like call myself a taste maker or whatever, sweet candy, whatever. I just wanted to say something. So I knew that my name is Alphas, and that's my first name in my government documents, and that is a capital letter. So... And then
that is a capital letter.
And then that's how capital E came about.
So akusi ukuthi khambelana ne background yakho ukuthi ube mhlambe wenda music walisebenzisa le eliqale khona.
It started, that's how it started. And obviously over the years I've evolved like the name and played around with it, but that's where it originally emanates from.
Then umuntu lebe angamathi kuMusa because wathi capital E ukuthi uvelaphi uhlala before akwati emoyeni ungathi ngibani uletha history yakho.
I don't know, bro. Like it's thinking, but I've always been that guy, and I like it like that. I'm that guy that is everywhere, but nobody knows anything about that guy. You would see me everywhere with your famous people, with the people that you aspire to be with. They're my friends, some of them, and all of that. But yeah, I'm just that guy. But particularly, I was born in Bethal. My mom and my dad got work transfer, and then we ended up being the side of town in Barberton. And then in Barberton, then obviously I started my primary school. It was grade 3. I went to Barberton Combined School. From there, Batik Zamandien. So yeah, I went till matric. And then from there I went on to my tertiary education, came back home. I joined BCR around, I've always wanted to join BCR since I was doing grade 10. I only managed to join BCR just post-matric, so yeah.
Ngizobela BCR kude vele shotlo ngiphamela ngacabanga kuphela na Valencia.
Not even. I know both their stories, not even. They had hustles nabongena in.
Yeah.
So yeah, whoever I don't know. I think radio even yabangayileta on your laps, I don't think you'll treat it the way you treat it the way if uhaslish ilangakhona yabo. So yeah.
So radio was vele into lebefuna kuyenda from SK.
I've always wanted to be a politician, funny enough.
Yes.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always seen myself in parliament for some weird reason. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I will one day. I don't know. Because I mean, the journey is not over. Yeah. But yeah, maybe one day I'll see myself in parliament. But I've always wanted to be a politician. From there, I moved to being in business, particularly in the financial sector. I had great aspirations of being
while you were successful.
Yeah, like your FET phase, like your grade 10, 11, 12. Yeah, they are so wanted to be an investor, like studied investments and all of that. When I finally had the opportunity, I was not as keen. Yeah, because I remember I even went to TUT. I studied econometrics, and then I did 1 year, Joe.
Since bofuna kuba politician ube waba boma RCL member anything.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was even president of a school. So yeah.
Okay. Then angathi kuliqiniso ngakanani uto confirma ngike ngeva. I think it's a rumor ukuthi nike na plan nebangani beni lebensesondweni ukuthi masiphuma la senda grade 12 wena uyofunza lokhu sto khona assistant.
No, it was. I mean, people that are in our circle will tell you that we're so influenced by the Jews. Yeah. So there's nothing that happens within the Jewish culture.
One of the guys who gave address is a Jewish. So yeah, we are confirmed.
I mean, we so inspired by the Jews. The Jewish nation, ayikho into abayenza ngemistake. For an example, they don't just get married. Umntana intombazana, umntana umfana, within those families they plan this thing, it happens, right? Whether they like each other, that's secondary. Yeah. It's not a violation of rights. Yeah. It's secondary.
Yes, you are choose a party.
Yeah, I mean, but also Jewish people deliberately choose not to support any other race besides the Jews. Okay. So, like, been studies made around how much $1 is spent around a Jewish culture or a Jewish nation. It's approximately 13.3%.
So the plan is generate income la.
Sure. So the thing is, we wanted to feed each other's businesses or entities. So this was the plan. Someone was tasked to be a lawyer. Someone was tasked to be in the financial space, be it accounting or anything like that. Somebody was tasked to be a politician. Somebody was tasked to just be in the mechanics, like fix cars and do all of those things. Somebody was tasked to be in the insurance business or study something around insurance. Somebody was tasked to be just a teacher. So others were tasked to be doctors and all that. Not. Yeah, I mean, it was a group of people. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, you see, the thing about life, and particularly black people, is that we always think because I'm where I am now, and then the other ones who are not where I am, they're out there to get me. So that's the unfortunate part of it. And also the other downside is that you caucus this thing as a team. You go pursue it in different universities in our country. You make new friends there. Then they influence you somehow there, and then you forget. But I can tell you without a doubt, within those group of people, we've got 2 CAs. Within those group of people, we've got 3 lawyers. Within those group of people, we've got about 5 agricultural experts, people who are doing agriculture for. I mean, they are moneyed now. Like they're doing very well for themselves. So, I mean, if you ask me if that plan was achieved, sure. But I suppose it's not feeding to what the whole plan was about. But I mean, it was achieved.
Njengoba uthi ufuna uqale kwenda noma ufuna uqala ngene PCR sasesikolweni then kukuthethe isikhathi lesingakanani ukuthi ufike lapho, because Clement it's 7 years, mina I think it's 4. I don't know Marvin ukuthi kumthethe isikhathi lesingakanani.
The big Zilla just left. So I think it would be, I think he left PCR it can't be 2013. It's way before that, because I think earlier. Okay, he had just left. And then I knew that I can do this thing. And I came knocking. I think to get into PCR, a good 3, 4, okay, let's say a good 4 years.
So you were not part of audition, none. After we are a tertiary lapho for your sound engineering stuff.
No. PCR ngangena through audition.
Yeah.
To get in. So, funny enough, I've been knocking to such an extent that I knew everyone at PCR. I even produced a show when I was still not at PCR. I remember producing for PRK on the Night Explosion. I was not hired by PCR. I was just producing for PRK. Made the show very nice. And then somehow I knew that there were going to be auditions. I came for the auditions. I said, there's a lot of people. They made us read a lot of stuff. We read it. Yeah, and then cut the short start. Myself and Marvin were in the same cohort of people that we hired. Yeah. So, yeah.
Then which show lebe ufuna to presenter wena not le waqala uyipresenter ukuthi okay because ukhuluma nga Big I think that time was doing Drive.
Yeah, no, sure. To be honest, I didn't know radio in that sense. Yeah. I just wanted to do hip hop. Right? Because I was fascinated by hip hop. So I got in. They gave me something completely different because Marvin took that spot of hip hop from me.
Yeah, because from you.
Yeah, because I mean,
but Marvin was hip hop enough.
Yeah, you see. But I mean, I was also hip hop. But the thing is, they gave me house. I killed it.
Oh, for real?
Bro, me, I killed house. I think for the first time, number one, I got to study the genre.
Yeah.
Secondly, I introduced a lot of DJs into the space. I mean, I spoke to famous people on that show. Mind you, the show was 10 to 2. Yeah. The first hour will kill it with the mix. Bring you latest music in terms of late, like dropped on that Friday. Yeah. And then Saturday, and we killed it, man. But I remember, here's one thing that people don't know. I remember walking up the bridge, coming to PCR. And I've always said that I'm going to leave PCR and I'll go to Rise. I've always said that. I've always wanted to be at Rise. Like, it has always... Because here's the thing. When you speak English, you can't identify yourself with any other radio stations besides. Yeah. It was just automatic.
There is even a conversation about Badra. Okay, Badra ngat good kan but mine bengihleke ivinanyana uma ukhuluma because into lethi ngilokhuluma and I'm surprised because I could not bring in stock and I'm being nati before ngintala but yonke into lengiyendile cishe ishothi indlela yema presenter go indlela yabantu abafuna kusakala so mawuthi Rise ngikhumbula mawuthi awucabanga ngeSwati ucabanga
yeah and people laughed
till ucabanga English but it's the same thing nami lengjalo ukuthi mangicabanga mina ngisikasi kakhulu so yonke into yami ngifuna kuyirelater ngidona it doesn't matter ukuthi ngicabanga
and you know I've got a tendency of saying things right let me tell you something I've got a tendency of saying something without any research without any knowledge and to find that that thing is true. It is actually scientifically proven and researched that when you think in a language.
Okay. Now we safe now. Nami ngiyaqala kuva bengingakwati but ngak-understand la ngoba nami vele mangicabanga.
And also when you dream.
Yeah.
You dream it's either in a picture or sound.
Yeah. Okay. Alright. We learning. Then ngaleso sikhathi ngibobani lebe ba influenceile ngoba lebuthanza kubalalela ngike ngasharela Marvin ukuthi mina i-radio bengicabanga ukuthi i-BCR yodwa because etindlini banalo ukuthi mabathanza i-radio station bavulele
yona kuphela.
So wena ngaleso sikhathi bekungubani lebe
Which time is this?
Lesikhathi uqala i-BCR ma presenter lebukele ku.
I've had an opportunity at that time to hear I've had a little bit though. I had heard DJ Fresh. I had I was not really like an avid radio listener, but at that time Fresh I've heard. Touch was my biggest at the time. Yeah. Thibaut Touch. He was still doing Touchdown 3 to 6 on Metro FM.
Yeah, I was so present. It's right.
I loved the Breakfast Yase Metro at the time. Glenn Lewis and Unati. They were killing it with Mel Bala as well. Killing it with Mabena he ended up leaving the show to be with Super Sports. For me, that was ideal radio for me.
Yeah.
That was dope radio at the time. I've never really been fascinated about the province as far as radio is concerned, but I can tell you for a fact that Makosi, I listened to him when he was still at Rise. Shucks, that guy was a killer. The Big Zill, funny enough, the Big Zill so he left PCR, went to be with Likwala Kwala, and then he went to be with Rise. Yeah, now and then I'd listen to him, because the thing is, he's one of those unpredictable presenters. You don't know what he's gonna do next. Next minute he's shouting, next minute he's crying. You see, so he's one of those presenters. So yeah.
So bofuna kutokwendana in terms of change, because game aside in la manglalela i-radio nami funny enough benga lalela ma radio la in terms of music bengiva ngathi okay umusic kude wala lokushini lo dlalwa ku enough all the lama njengoba ngising DJ the music lo underground until ngaze ngathola booking, but now I'm doing a trap, so no one introduced trap into this radio like that. When abofuna mhlambe kutokwendana,
I'd say I was tired of the way they were asking the questions. Like for real, like I remember, I still have a vivid memory. Maraza came to PCR. Man, like, I mean, I'm talking about Maraza simply because I even came to PCR. Okay, there's two particular interviews now that I think about it. But the other one I was inside already. But the thing is, Maraza had just, there was no longer the team. I mean, the team was no longer there. Just That, right? Just That was no longer a team.
yeah, there's an Maraza.
Yeah, so he was just now Maraza alone. Yeah. Now this guy was coming to PCR to be interviewed.
Yeah.
Now this guy comes. The presenter was so focused at Just That, and even on Just That, we didn't really get what Maraza was about. And I felt we missed an opportunity there, because here's this guy from a group who's dope. I mean, why leave a group? We didn't even know why he left the group. Yeah. The presenter was just so fixated in knowing where Deza was. Yeah. As I said, nah, he's in KZN. You guys don't talk. I felt, man, there was a lot that could have been asked. But here's another reason. The same question that was asked at Kwala Kwaleni, those were the same questions that were asked here at home. I was like, come on, we can do better.
Yeah, so kumuntu lolalele kumntwana, I think that's the spark lo ngasithola, because ngeke awutongicolela ngeke ngabuda JT ngoba beka i-lecture yami nami.
Funny enough, I spoke to her on Friday about you, and we spoke just general talk. Yeah, we spoke, but yeah, you can continue.
Utongivalele khona
No, I'm not, but we
so,
spoke. Yeah.
masikhuluma naye ngikambuda ukuthi bekuyini spark sakhe se-radio, uve something le shodako or le lekhakho, and nami is the same thing. Good, okay, ngeva ukuthi lokhu kumisekako eradweni, then angiyeke uheta lapha, then le khula kwakho kuze ufike ku voice over artists. How did you develop it?
There I have to give Mawetu some credit, without a doubt.
Shout out.
I won't say to you, hey, I knew. Nah, Mawetu Ngwenya, Mawetu N on social media. He's with the Likwala Kwala right now. The guy was our programs manager. He told me straight on that I like your voice. Let's try something with it. Yeah. That's it. Like, I don't claim, and I didn't even know,
Yeah, so you can be a voice
He
over
gave me scripts. Looking at how he would write those scripts, then I developed the habit of writing for myself, coming up with concepts for myself. But I won't say, hey, I knew, Mawetu is the guy for that. I don't know anything. I don't know what he saw. Yeah, he's the guy. But eventually, I fell in love with voice overing, and then
Who academy ufike njani? Yase YFM.
YFM Academy, I'm in ASE as Academy of Sound Engineering. I'm studying there inside the SABC. I see a guy by the name of Flavor. He's still with YFM at the time. Hey. So I see more flavor. Now, here's the thing about my school. My school was inside the SABC, such a way that you would bump into any famous person. For an example, I used to, not once, not twice, not not 5 times, more than that. I would be on the same elevator as Tibo Touch as often as possible. I mean, with Glenn Lewis, with Unati, with Amon. Yeah. I mean, those were the guys. I mean, with 5FM guys, because 5FM, Metro FM, Radio 2000, they're close to each other. And we were using the same elevator because I was going on the same floor with them and whatnot. So, yeah. So bump into More Flavor. I asked him, how do you get into radio? He says, no, you start community radio, da, 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 da. And I said to him, but I've already been with community radio. Now, I had done at PCR at the time. I'm already in varsity. Now, More Flavor said, like, no, you do community radio, campus radio, and then, you start looking into guys like your IFM. And I'm like, but I've already done community radio. I've done a year. And then he says, for me, for real? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, Y academies are open now. Check out YFM. I'm like, YFM, what's that? Now, the thing is, I didn't know who More Flavor was, like, for real. Yeah. Here's my thing. I don't know him from radio. Yeah. I know him from TV because he used to do that show. So, I don't know him from radio. I know him from TV. But me, I want radio. But I knew that guy, somehow, he knows because he's in the space. I was just shooting my shot. Even if... happened. I mean, it so happened that he's on radio, and fast forward, I apply, I got shortlisted. Now, here's the thing: they tell me, okay, obviously you go through the Y website, you register everything, and then they want you to record yourself there and upload, and then you do that, and then you send yourself a picture. I mean, you send them yourself a picture. I mean, whatever the case is there, and then you do all of that. And then now. I'm at school, then they want us to go for trainings, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I come. This Y Academy thing is not working for me. But my parents are paying a lot of money for me to be here. I can't just go. I ended up missing a lot of classes just to attend the YFM thing. And then shortlisted to 16. And then from the 16, we're already practicing. I mean, you're being called every day, if not second day, to just be part and see how things are done. Unfortunately, I was not the cohort of people they absorbed. Yeah, but I mean, guys like, what's that girl's name? And now I forgot her name. But I know she's with 702 now. She's a newsreader there. I mean, that's the only person I remember that she was part of my group or intake.
Academy community.
Professionalism. Yeah. Chief, there you don't go on air if you don't know what you're going to say. It sounds as if those guys are just flunking, right? Yeah. They know when they open the mic, Joe. The thing is, what I realize is that sometimes community radio, you can open the mic without knowing what you're going to say and figure it out as you're saying it. There, the person knows already in their head that I'm going to start with that clock there and I'm going to say good afternoon or good morning or how you doing, GP? That's Gauteng. And then I'm going to tell you our social... So already they're planning it. But they don't know the body. But the intro they know. They even know the outro. The body could be anything. But often, we know the body. We don't know the intro and the outro. And then that's why it don't make sense.
Then, what did you do different, Maubiala PCR? Because you... So what?
I came back. My way to left PCR. I hosted the breakfast. In a way, you can say that because I just did like few months of the weekend breakfast, just few months. I think it's not even 6, it's a few months. Then my way to and the late Kingdom left, and then I took over, and I had one mission to change it into an English show.
Then we did.
Yeah.
Because even I didn't.
I mean,
no. But break my boundaries.
My Venek is limited. No, like here's my thing. You see, the thing is, you must play at your strength. Yeah. My Venek is limited. I find myself talking to even my girlfriend in Swat. Yeah. I just have to say, because I forgot, like I don't know, like I didn't learn this one.
Like but mama check up big Zulu is the
only my other thing. Zulu. I didn't study Zulu.
Zulu president.
But remember, let's Zulu is kulma emakhaya. elezulu kumele usakaze ngaso sifana. Yeah. And also because you did not study ngesizulu or azange usifunda isizulu as a home language esikoleni, then you are because the thing is I can write an essay ngesizulu, but like nasaba ngathi balicwaninga kahle le you know le essay yakho whatever. Jo.
Why umntwana omncane should join a community radio? What's the benefit? You
become an all-rounder. The thing about this, here's the thing. If you want to be a journalist, a print journalist, start with community radio. If you want to be a spokesperson for government, you see, sometimes, look, I've spoken to a friend, and she's a spokesperson for the MEC. Funny enough, Babato knows her, Xolile Nkabinde. She's a spokesperson of the MEC for economic development and tourism in the province of Mpumalanga. I've spoken to her. Had she not been with the SRC at school, she was not going to be able to do the job the way she's done. I mean the way she's doing it now. Yeah, no, sure. Yeah. So I'd say community radio, parents should allow kids to, on holidays, the kids must come here, and PCR must always open the doors for those young kids. Not abuse those kids, but like mentor them in terms of make them the producer, make them, the news readers on weekends, make them, shadow some few people, give them the opportunity, especially if PCR still have that 1 hour, 30 minutes, slot, give it to kids, because, kids would find their identity there. Someone will know what this thing's for me or not for me, and people will know which field in radio should they play in or even in society.
The struggle asikathathi la kuphela mawufuna ngena la PCR kunesikhathi lapho solufuna ke kwalakwaleni khona as a producer why bo so ubona ngathi ukhulile from ku community radio or bo so ufuna ukukhula.
To be honest, now in hindsight I think that idea of mine was just stupid.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what, like let me be honest, it comes a time where you reach a ceiling in any place, and you must know when you have reached that ceiling and let go. And some of the battles that we fought at Pizar were never really about, or were never for the listener. Were never really, okay, maybe at first, but how it happened, that's for ourselves. But my thing is, when you've reached the ceiling, you're going to fight with people for no apparent reason. You're going to fight with why is this mic not standing like this instead of standing like that. Then you must know you have reached the ceiling. I think PCR had reached the ceiling. PCR, I read sports, I read news, I produced. I was like,
that's why I can say mouse lel kamaleli is over.
Yeah, I mean, I had done everything, and mind you, but I still feel wherever he is, Mr. Manana, he knows he robbed us an opportunity to actually create something very beautiful with our breakfast team. Look, he gave us an opportunity to be with those ladies, right? And I think because he was short-sighted in the sense of what he could have looked at this thing very differently. I mean, he was acting on hearsays. And I feel like to that extent, he robbed us an opportunity to actually build ourselves and himself, to build something very beautiful for the province. But unfortunately, I mean, that happened. No love lost. By far, I think he's one of the most funny people to be around. He was a great manager, even though he had his mistakes.
Yeah, a great manager because I think your team, yes, okay, asitale ngale yokuqala lebe uyithole ingekho la wena from Bo Bigzil, that was radio bekute celebrity, even you angafiki ne celebrity, but le team lo sebenza nayo in terms of working mawungabuka iline up yakho becala wena kube ngi-BRK, then kunglindo Dobbs, ngina Jabulane, then bengina Kingdom. Lama relationship beniba nawo njani ukuthi ngatholakala inhlasha ene mangabe ukuthi niyabuka bonke labo bayaspana, because uma ungabuka kuhamba kwenje ngoba usho ukuthi khambe mawethu na Kingdom baya ngale noma late Kingdom, but still nawe na Jabulane whatever lana hambe khona solo lemsebenzi lebenienda still iyabonakala o beyikhona i-development kini ni team as my colleagues nonke nabo Clement nabo Marvin, because the team le ngiyo le ngiyibonile mina, but umsebenzi wenu bekamuhle.
I think it's very simple in a sense yokuthi Prince, you must be passionate I think passion over everything is very important. And remember, all those people you've just mentioned, all of them. I remember we had a meeting. Our mission was very simple. Was to not be likwala kwala. That was our mission. The thing is, we have seen everyone else wanted to be likwala kwala.
Yeah, but Likwala is the face of Mpumalanga, and it's we make it the face of Mpumalanga because it's national.
No, I mean I can tell you for free. He knows now, so it's not a secret.
Yeah.
Mr. Mavoso called our show with those girls in the morning. He said he was enjoying the show.
Yeah.
But also, as people have got this tendency of calling, and then because you've said all these nice things, then you feel like, I'm robbing these people. Then you want to also say this not so nice thing. But I suppose he was listening and he enjoyed. And then he corrected us on something that we had done on air. He said, no, guys, you shouldn't do it like that. You should do it like this. But I think, and here's the other thing. I must thank him for not calling on air. Yeah, he just wanted to be off air. And till this day, when I meet him, he knows it's all love. I still remind him of the same thing that he said. So yeah.
So uti develop kanjani wena ngokwenda i-competition but inga create i-conflict?
What do you mean inga create conflict?
Like,
amongst who?
Nje okay, mina like i-competition yami so ngiyakhumbula okay, they after Andile na America bakaze ba hire i-content producer BCR, but angeke ngithi i-dream or whatever.
So Andile was your parameter,
No ngisafuna kuya lapho the way ni Radiohead ngayo or we Radiohead ngayo, like sifiso sambe ngifuna ukubona uproducer or any radio station especially doing drive or whatever, but on air then ngibone letinto letendako. That was my encouragement or whatever. Say how do I compete? Mangiva ukuthi mina uthola umsebenzi ngoDecember ngiyo into leyo ngena ukuthi okay uyabona nyalo angihambe ngiyocela ku-producer ku-breakfast bebangangibhadala nokungibhadala. So that's how I compete.
Okay, so let's be honest. Let's use this platform to be honest.
Yeah, choose umuntu lengeke ngifike.
According to you, do you think
but mangikhula ngiyakhona ngiyasho ukuthi okay I'm gonna get there. Then mase ngiwa.
According to you, do you think we did well on that show? Yeah. When I was producing it.
Which the Rise FM?
Yeah.
Angathi yes you wende kahle because babakunike i-platform yokuthi ukhulume on air but walile wakhona kunika labo make ba express.
No, not really, Joe. The ladies were forcing me to talk. I did not want to. Yeah, they are the ones who wanted me. Because, you see, also, the ladies spoke about me so much that the listeners started sending voice notes and saying they want to hear me say something.
So why ngithi nende kahle the fact ukuthi ukhonile kungafuni kuba stop because ngenye into lehlupha even maybe kwendeke nato kuba parts ukuthi baphathi bafuna ishine but ukhonile ukuthi holder then wende lo msebenzi wakho. And uma uthi nende kahle, how well do you know Mpumalanga? We learn so much.
Yeah, no, definitely. You see, I think me personally, one of the things I pride myself for is having come up with that concept.
Yeah.
I was not alone. We were tasked to come up with a quiz on that show.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to think deep, and I thought, you know what, quizzing them about something that they already know would be nice.
Yeah.
And obviously, we came up with the concept. How well do you know Mpumalanga? And yeah.
So then we are figure baqashe as a content producer. Then uqale uthola i-offer leyo ukuthi uyowenda i-current affairs ye-business, or let's say talk singathi current affairs ye-business. Lama newspaper ancedzile lebusole uwathenga each and every time la business news or anything lebutibukela because ngina ngisho khona ukuthi mina yes yonke into ungayibuka ngathi uyadlala but yonke into ihambisana nemsebenzi wakho.
I think in general I've got an inquisitive mind in general, and I happen to love business. I follow a lot of business people, so that becomes my go-to conversation with people, and I can critique how this business is. I mean, currently the conversation I'm having with my friends is that on Facebook changing their logo and their company name from being Facebook to Mata. See, that's currently the conversation we're having. Now, the thing about it is that so you tend to gravitate towards those conversations a lot At work, my news editor saw me. She thought, you know what, man, you can do this thing. She started testing me by filling me in.
Yeah.
And then from there, yeah, it was go time.
Then the business bongana because you have rent business before.
Well, I mean, obviously, look, she tested me on her show. That was business. Then the conversations developed, and she was like, you know what, I'm looking for somebody to do, Rise in 60. Are you keen? I thought about it for a week. So I'm like, current affairs. Aye. But I came back, I was like, you know what, let me take this opportunity. And yeah, we took it.
So how do you prepare yourself for moving from, let's say I was a sports presenter, then bangnika lenye but now go for news, because you were presenter doing breakfast. Yes, bekakhona ama feature libukhuluma ngebusiness, but now it's current, it's talk 1 hour, no music.
No, the thing is, you don't. My problem is that I worry if a presenter says I switch. So my question is, what presenter were you? Because the same things I'm talking about on Rise FM in 60 minutes is the same things I would have talked about if I was just a presenter. There's nothing different. Now the difference is that when I was just a presenter, I would have spent maybe 3 minutes doing a link in and out about that conversation. But now I get to give it 15 minutes, 30 minutes talking to the individual who's involved. So that's the difference.
Then njengoba usibonga si kini into yokwenda ukuthi okay, let me take this.
Now the thing is, you look at, obviously you are known for something.
Yeah, oh okay.
Right? And then you want to somewhat retain that title. And then you don't want to explore what's out there. And I think for me, it was just comfort. I just wanted to play within my comfort. I didn't want to challenge myself. But as soon as I said yes to the offer, and yeah, there and there, I challenged myself.
No change or just decided it was okay, now since I'm gonna be a formal man?
No, not really. I mean, another thing about where I work now is that they're not really for these frivolous names. Yeah. If you would realize, every person there calls themselves by their name. Yeah. The thing is, they understand that that thing lacks longevity. In a sense that, look at every person who used to call themselves, I mean, take for instance Pro Kid. He used to call himself Pro Kid.
Yeah.
And then he went on to call himself Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, towards the end, he just wanted to be called Lindam Keys. Yeah. You see, I think that institution understands, Uguti, for you to go long, you need to be yourself. And yourself is Prince Vilaga. There's nothing else. If you're gonna call yourself Prince Ozo now, next day you call Prince, and then you're gonna change. You're gonna gravitate towards the origin. That's the thing. So I know me those conversations, because here's my other thing. I was already being in spaces where capital E did not make sense to those people. No, I started being in spaces where capital E didn't make sense. In those spaces, I mean, just alone, in COVID-19, I met CEOs of London and as well as a JSE, a listed company. We were just having conversations. And I couldn't go to the person and say, I'm capital E. And, Now, I'm talking about the CEO of a listed company in London and in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So, capital E didn't make sense. So, that's when it dawned on me that, chief, now this capital E thing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to kill capital E. I'm going to use it for something else, of which I've not really found that thing else. But for a long while, I'm going to be Elfas, Musa Sikhosana. Yeah.
Then why did you include the brand, capital E brand? Your name?
I've always called myself capital E brand. Yeah. The capital E brand was I envisage Uguti, I'm going to do a lot of things under capital E. Yeah. So the media part was brand one.
Okay.
Because I also did events under capital E. So events, because you would see capital E presents. That would be me doing brands. I mean, I was hosting like a whole lot of things. I mean, you see, so as I'm saying, I was also helping people market their businesses using capital E brand. So yeah.
then usanawo ma-aspirations because ngikhumbula lelinye ilanga sike sikhuluma ukuthi manje babathi okay hamba ku-BBC 1 extra uhambe mhlambe South Africa or kuya kulenye radio station.
I'm gonna tell you something that I've been having conversations with myself on a Prince. I'm not 30 yet, but I had made like a sort of conversation with myself saying that I don't want to reach 30 doing radio. Okay. That is a me thing.
Radio at all, off air, on air, radio.
Yeah, doesn't make sense to me. Can't tell me about your DJ Fred. To me,
yes,
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Right. I'm still not 30. I've got a long way to go. Yeah, so I don't see myself doing radio beyond 30.
But the voice over can continue.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Why ungakabi ngoba ngathi awukuthanda even still nanyalo kuba nge-MC net ngathi bakufostela? Yes, I don't even like
look, right now I'm pushing myself to facilitate conversations. This MCing thing is a waste of a skill for me.
I understand ngizafuna kusho lo ukuthi yes, I love radio but nami on air ngifuna kwenda ishow yami ngiphume lento yabo voice over nani into maye ngafithi go but angizange vele ngubona ukuthi MC thing.
No, the thing is I don't have that energy that is needed to hype people up. Me, I don't hype people up. I want to get to the facts and get out. I don't want to hype people up. But if it comes, I mean, I've rejected several because, okay, but I must be honest, the one I rejected recently was because my voice was gone. So it's not really that. I really needed the money. The money was promising, but my voice was not there. So I couldn't take a job and take the money, but I won't be able to do justice. So yeah.
Bone ma feature every time ukhuluma, I think it was JP TK ukuthi ba analyze i-politics but bona ukukhuluma nebantu bema politician. I remember lelinye langa ukakhuluma nalo make we DA wala Mpumalanga
Jane Stall my Jane.
So kuncede ngakanani ukuthi nyalo mawufika lapha uthi current talk lokudla kwami lokho asambe nyalo yes bengikhuluma maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes nyalo angaya full hour.
Prince, you know, let me tell you something. Like I was at PCR, I never knew that there's a world out there. Like a world too big. I got to Mpumalanga's hottest station. I realized ukuthi PCR, you're so focused about when you say Mpumalanga, you talk in Nhlanzeni.
Okay, when I saw you luleka kakhulu mina it's Lowveld. Yeah, but
yeah, okay, yeah. So you talk the Lowveld, but I mean, still Nhlanzeni is still pretty much the Lowveld. I mean, Nhlanzeni goes all the way to your Bushbuck Reach and then comes back to Nkomazi and just the lower part. I've always thought that was Mpumalanga when I was still at PCR. Yeah. Well, when I was saying, so tell us what are your plans are in Mpumalanga, I was talking about the Lowveld in Mpumalanga. When I got to Rise, I realized what Mpumalanga was really about. I've never really, when I was a producer and when I'm on the show, you'd get a WhatsApp voice note, someone saying they're in Dr. J.S. Morok municipality. And then you're like, where's that? Yeah. Huh? That is in Mpumalanga, in the Nkangala region, right? And then somebody would be telling you that, no, Leslie. West. We once got confused. Someone writing is a thing in dot.
Everything dot awati la lone Papa Tol.
Mina ngathi Papa Tol ngathi le one in Northspread lapha White Reef. Yabo. Yeah, this person was in Emalahleni.
Yeah, even there's Msholozi after White River or before White River, but there's Msholozi la location.
Exactly, you know. So we got it confused. So we thought this person was around, and I remember the guys I was working with said, "No, come through." You know, no. Because they don't really know much about these names of Msholos and what. So like they're like Musa was Msholos or Tingindota. I'm like, oh, Tingindota. Other this person is somewhere here. Then we go like, hey, come through. And then the person says, it's like, hey guys, me I'm in Emalahleni. We're like, hey, you know. So you realize that Mpumalanga is big. Mpumalanga is very big. So to answer you, when I talk to Jane, about Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
Right? So at first I thought I'm talking to Mary Jane about things that are happening within. Now when I speak to her, I must know what's going on in Steve Chwet, local municipality. I must know what's going on in the Palisang local municipality about DA. Yabo? And because she's the leader of the Democratic Alliance in the province, she must be able to tell me. Yabo? And when I talk to the Democratic Alliance, I don't say in Mpumalanga talking about the Lowveld. I have to be specific which municipality I'm talking about within the province, within the the 20 municipalities. So it's all those things. So the conversation broadens, it changes completely because the logarithms of the conversation changes. I've spoken to former spokesperson of ESCOM, not Sikhosana, the other guy. Spoken to him at PCR. But when I reflected, it would have been a different conversation at Rise.
Then radio industry satoba nayo Mpumalanga because yes, lapha kini we have radio presenters. I wanna be clear, and we have these radio stations, but the same thing they be in Kawatala. We not living radio. I think so because we don't.
What do you
know
mean
much,
living radio?
Or we don't know much about radio.
In which sense?
This thing of being a celebrity, you're gonna come to radio and being a celebrity is not working. That number one. But number two is we need to understand the content or must present or especially for a community. It's not about me when I'm on air. That's why.
Well, the thing is, I think a lot of community radio presenters haven't really identified why are they doing it. And also, I think the sense of understanding the platform is very important. So right now, the platform at which the platform at which I'm on allows me to read as wide as possible and be interested about your solar energies, your what, because those are conversations that affect abantu. So, and then I'd say to you, abantu abaningi wanna be famous using radio. So, and also abanye abantu abayithanda radio nje, like in general. So someone wants to be on radio to get to hang out with Eno, isn't danger. Because Eno is an MC and Eno gets the nice girls, isn't danger. So those are some of the things. But normally, you don't really have abantu who really love the the platform or the medium for what it is. So I mean, I'd say we need to develop, especially community radio station presenters, for them to understand. See, the thing is, when you move outside the community platform, the reason why I'm grilling on the communities, because when you move outside that, you find professionals who are doing radio. So it's completely different conversation where somebody has got a 9 to 5, and then in the evening you're going to hear them on radio.
Okay.
You cover what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a person is a professional in terms of the person is an accountant. That's why he does a radio like a business show. He's got all the etiquettes of doing presenting, and he understands this thing. So this person is attacking radio from an intellectual or an educational perspective, whereas community radio stations, you hardly have professionals. You just have people who are aspiring to be in certain fields, but they can do the job, right? So and then we interview the community leaders and the members. So think about it like this. Think of community radio as local government elections, or local government, where community radios are municipalities. They play a certain role, whereas commercial radio stations are like your provincial. Then you've got your national radio stations. So commercial radio stations in that area or in the region, consider them as provincial government, and then consider community radio stations as municipalities. In that way, you'll understand that each and everyone has a role. But overall, provincial government tends to dictate the mood in the province. Where municipalities tend to dictate a mood in a municipality. Sure.
Then kuvala indaba radio la because you doing more but sakhuluma ngeradio nyalo yini mhlambe into lebe ungayi expect yafike yakwendekela community radio in terms ngisingasho njenge bizarre because yes nyalo ukhulume ukuthi lapha besingathi kusemsholozi kuna double bomsholozi so bongaka expect maybe le audience lelengaka ku commercial radio.
Joe, you see the beauty of saying a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Our number to dial is this and this. Hit us up. And then you see those words, aye, brother, it's like a mind plug. Yeah. It's so like when you play them, they're not in the same place. You see here in Babaton, you say pumping bit of a kasi, number 072 or 02 rather. And then IB is 013 712 8500. And nobody calls because people don't have like people are using Vodacom. It's community, Joe. It's got nothing to do with the radio station. It's got everything to do with the community, where we must understand that the community, the people that are listening, they hardly even naturally community members don't really call 013 or 012. They don't. Give us a 072 chief, got minutes. We'll call you. It's not a problem. Right? So those dynamics. There you say 013, they call chief. You say WhatsApp, they call. You say Twitter, they tweet. You say Instagram. Someone Instagrams you a picture now, Joe. Yabo.
When ema pop-up event kudla njengoba sisho yakuthanza kune restaurant letako no spread.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know. I think, look, I don't want to claim it, but I mean, me and the guys I was working with, we introduced my pop-ups at Babatons. Yeah. It's without a doubt. It's without a doubt. We've done a lot of pop-ups. Today you have people doing the cooking and delivering because we did it during lockdown. It's nothing new to us, yabo. But what I'm happy is that people are supporting those who are doing them now, yabo. We're still trying to. Here's my thing. I just want to create experiences, things that people have never had before, especially happen in our town, the city of Mbombela or Mpumalanga.
Okay, my name is Innocent Lobisi. What I would say to Capital, we need more pop-ups. Yeah, because our introduce and then he left that was Shenja. So I was because then it's a different movement election. Yeah, and some sort of food manner. Now when the Indole so ikas lebanga ichoi lebo iyafuneka. Now uchabuka the Indole so then they got like bochozi, bopitori in ngalana lendo asiati. So he gave us that in kondo what's matter kune pop up. Yeah, so and then was Shenja. So say it things have lendo funa kubeka end. Stom support us call. I remember I went to that one R4. I went to that one and it everything proper, set up and everything was proper. So anga tigegi pass gumbi akiva beglendo le. Akayende. Yabona because we can't like sibuka into leyi1. Naga kunebantu labaphuma ngendlini abafuni igroove le serious. Kunemuntu longanathi yabona. So akathanza isiphithiphithi ukuthi maybe utoya edinzaweni letikhona la location yabona. So I pop up is uniketa uvulela indlela labantu abagroove asima groovist but then the time vibes yabona bantu bafike bahlala batinathela bathenga ama soft drink abo yabo kunemahabli khona laphana batibhemela amahabli abo yabo into njalo so this thing ndoda ayichubeke ngiyacela Capital ayichubeke mfowethu
Qhubekisa ya Capital ushaya ngespeech uziyahleka Capital kucuke sobambe
mina
njalo microphone yeah
mina give me njalo mnet la ngikona khona sinika labanye platform is not about us, it's about the people.
Yeah. I-achievement yakho shothi inendile la Baptini ngoba nabo bayawenda lama event and
kuqiniso thina have influenced a lot of people. Mandokutshela kuqiniso labantu babona bathengisa kudla nyalo la lokushini, especially this thing they don't know what to call it. That's the problem. Yeah. I did it in lockdown. I went hard. Like thengisa lokudla sekudeliver. We did it la lokushini. To us, not something new. We did pop-ups. All of a sudden, people are doing pop-ups. La lokshin. Yeah, well, it's a great thing. I suppose people are getting inspired. So yeah.
ngenza ube restaurant sine guarantee then store siyasibona sithi mbadla because
Yeah,
yebo
definitely.
nyalo sesiyena sport nakhona.
I think it's progression, natural progression. Munhu kumele akhule. You must go where the numbers are. Yeah, so it makes sense to be in the capital city of the province.
Ngaphandle capital city. Okay, sifela leligama. Ngaphandle kwa radio because yes mention in the radio sicetha kumention ma event restaurant and store setimbadla. Khona lokunye lesingabukela from ku.
I've got a huge interest around tourism, really interest. But without a doubt, currently I'm working on my big project. I think it will benefit the community of Mpumalanga, but we'll start with Babaton just to test run it. It's just consider it as a corporate social investment from my end to the community. I'm working with like people with money to do it. It's more of an expo of some kind, but around education. So we're going to be doing that. I think over the years, I've been somewhat passionate about education. So yeah.
Ku social media available good bandu banga khulumisa mhlambe mabafuna.
I'm back now because I took a sabbatical. I'm back now. I just told a lady today after church that now I have Instagram. So yeah, I'm back now. People, if they've realized, I haven't posted anything on Instagram, but I'm back. I've seen what people have been posting. I've seen what you guys have been getting up to, Lapaptini, Ntugana, and all of that. Well, yeah.
Uma wenda sports awuvumeleki ukhulume ngeteam yakho. So I don't know.
No, things have changed.
Ku current affairs.
No, even that has changed. You get sport presenters who tell you which team they support. That's why you'd find these teams like Orlando Pirates will go to a radio station and give a news, I suppose a sportscaster a t-shirt because they know that this person identifies with them. So that has changed completely.
So no,
you can't.
Oh yes.
You can't. Here's the thing. The reason why, see, sports is very different from politics. I'll tell you two reasons. Now we are voting. If I was with any political party, I'll be biased to the other ones because I want my political party to win. But with sports, it changes every day. Today Clement can be telling you about Orlando Pirates, right? But tomorrow it could be Orlando Pirates playing against Kaizer Chiefs. And it could be Kaizer Chiefs playing against another team. Orlando Pirates out there, the equation. So for him not to say, Orlando Pirates, because I know he likes Orlando Pirates, but he's not going to say. He pretends like he likes Kaizer Chiefs. So, but it's fine. Those are some of the things that happen. But my take is that the thing is, I can tell you that there are certain leaders that I like. There are leaders within various political parties that I like. I think they can do better. For an example, I like the MEC from Limpopo, who's MEC of Health. Forgot her name now, but she's an amazing person. I've heard her speak. She speaks sense, but I don't know if that is somewhat, cascading down to the department that she heads. I don't know, but she's a great leader.
Okay, ngoba kude lobonako uma sihlanganisa leti points lamakhala maybe nale Mike is the political party lo isupportako. Okay.
No, but besides, look, okay. Let me say these things, because now I'm in the political space.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to misquote me. Yeah. I love these political parties. You see, if you have realized,
even Maria, I can nagu breakfast yakho bowabita onke.
Yeah, and
never biased.
And if you realize, I'm pro development, and I understand where development needs to come from. And funny enough, this morning I had conversations with myself. I was saying to people, if people are saying they're not going to vote, then they are ridiculing our constitution. Simple reasons. And also, if you're going to say to people, don't be politically, hey, don't be political. Look, Chief, if you and I are not going to go vote, doesn't matter which party you're voting for, because the fact that you are voting for that party means that you're convinced that party can bring that change you aspire, right? So my thing is, if you don't vote, you see, local government elections are very important in a sense of which if you don't vote or if you vote, you're voting for a party that when legislature or rules or bylaws are into effect, you need people or politicians that are going to say, no, but this thing does not resemble the community we represent. For an example, tomorrow, they could just wake up and say, you know what, no one is dumping at, which ward are you from in Bombay?
It's what, 41?
Yeah, let's say there's a certain area in Ward 41 that every person is dumping there. There in our municipality in Northspray, they could say, you know what, in Ward 41, that place is identified for development. We just want to take that place and do what. You need a councillor or politicians that knows that, you know what, if we pass this thing into action, or if we agree with this thing, or if we say this investment must not come to this place, this is how it's going to affect these people in this way. We need people who can think like that. But if you're not going to go vote, the very same people who have been making these dumb decisions for us to be here today, they're still going to make them. So that's part of the reasons why. And me, I can tell you for free. They are like, you see, sometimes I walk around Babaton, and I wish, hey, this councillor maybe could have been in this ward. I know this guy could have been, or this girl could have been instrumental with this and this and in this ward. But unfortunately, because they live there, you know, But I mean, all in favor of everyone who's in the poll. Obviously, others are not in good standing as far as other things is concerned. But I'm happy, but I'm really disappointed at Babaton for having not raised an independent candidate. I don't know, maybe it's because finance, because it's expensive, but I doubt it's that expensive. I mean, you print posters, you go put them there yourself.
Yes, I did.
And yeah.
Kumuntu lofuna kuva more about the tinto lesikhuluma ngato, because you doing it on your show. Ishow yakho iqala sikhatsini. What is the frequency?
Definitely. I will tintela singathinta khona. So Rise FM in 60 minutes comes to Mpumalanga in about 7 frequencies. We cover the whole spectrum of the province, you know, from the low veld to the high veld, you know, to every part of this province called Mpumalanga to its full definition. We are definitely covering it with 20 municipalities, 400 wards, definitely 3 districts. So it's Rise FM 943 if you are in the low veld. Various other frequencies if you are in those, more than willing to share those frequencies if you're listening to us outside the low veld. www.risefm.co.za. It's a Rise FM in 60 minutes every Monday to Thursday between the hours of 7 and 8, where we talk current issues, social issues, issues that really affect you and I, and we bring those to account, those who are in power to account. It's very simple. I mean, if people were supposed to get soup and they didn't get soup, we find out who are supposed to deliver the soup, and then we ask those who said this one must go and deliver the soup. So we bring everyone to account. We bring you, even the affected party. Why didn't you get your soup? How do you feel about it? So definitely, I suppose Mpumalanga needs such conversations. We are not really confrontational. We don't do that thing that people do to fight politicians. No, we give politicians the right to respond. I believe, because here's the thing, Prince, I can't accuse you of things and then not give you the right, the right to reply. So it's definitely one of those things. So we do that, definitely. So if you're going to say a mayor of this municipality has not done 1, 2, 3, be rest assured, I'm going to put you both on the line. I mean, I'm just sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Clement Utingawe, Prince. What do you have to respond? Clement is on the other line at that time. You have a gahle, good when you more respond. So that now Clement saying about Clement, are you satisfied?
Yeah, ngichena kwenda ku Questa no Tapati Questa.
No, he refused. I mean, then I was still a content producer.
Yeah.
Questa, we called both of them. Nota said he was fine. Questa refused to be on the same call with Nota.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It was no malicious thing there. We called Nota. Nota said, no, cool. I'm keen to be on the same line with Questa.
Yeah.
Questa said, no, I can't.
Okay, then.
So that's why we call them separately.
Kuze abantu batokhona kukhumbula ngoba uthe ku social media mababona uposta ngesikhathi seshow yakho, handle yakho ku Twitter.
Go Twitter is Musa_Sikhosana, and then Instagram is the same handle. On Facebook we still capital E, but soon to change to Musa Sikhosana. So yeah.
I think ukhulume manje kudele ngakudlulisa. I'm happy ukuthi you grow from la usuka khona. Yes, it's nice ukuthi bakunikele I challenge. Maybe ngiyo le kwende wahlala ku radio ngabe sowekelile because
yeah, definitely. And you look, I can give you this for free. In the next 3 years we're doing something different. Yeah, different but around communication, but very different.
Sicocela phezulu kazitobe ide for ukuthi covering. Yeah, siyabonga ukuthi usivakashele.
No, siyabonga thina sinifisela ukuthi kuphela.
Let's talk about it. Ascolte. Let's talk about it. Ascolte. Let's talk about it. Ascolte.